Did Dream cheat at Minecraft? Yes. Yes, he did. Video over. Everybody go home. Boy, so the internet has been absolutely enamored by this past week, and I wanted to do a video, but then stuff just kept happening, and so I had to postpone it so that way I could really take in everything that was going on. So don't worry, I'll give my opinions on everything in a little bit. But I gotta get everybody caught up to speed because you know what? People that have things to do not have time to pay attention to this at all. I'm surprised I found out about it, to be honest. I'm actually impressed with myself. Alright, so what's the TLDR here? Well, unbeknownst to all of us, Dream did in fact cheat. Wow, who saw that one coming? Am I right, guys? Anyway, Dream did cheat. This was something everybody had known for a little bit based off of third-party mathematicians on the internet. There's a couple of YouTube videos out that are really good and interesting, and it kind of gives you some like understanding of the sauce behind how Minecraft does drop rates and stuff like that. It's interesting, especially if you're into game dev stuff. But yeah, he did cheat. The version of Minecraft he was using in the speedrun wasn't vanilla Minecraft, and he posted this apology confession thing on Pastebin. So it's very long-winded Pastebin, and apparently Dream wrote this while he was in the bath. I can only assume he was listening to classical music. You know, he got the bath bomb in there, got some bubbles going, nice little candle, nice ambiance and mood. Maybe he had a glass of wine, but he was in a cold sweat. Dream was in a cold sweat, and cold sweat and Dream just got out his quill and his paper, and he started scribing. He started scribing an apology. Now, the context for which this Pastebin was created is hilarious. Personally, it's so strange. When was the last time you had time to take a bath? There was cheating involved. He was not aware that the version of Minecraft he was using had altered drop rates and that it wasn't a vanilla version of Minecraft with normal drop rates, you know, but then he didn't know, and there's a lot of contrivances and conveniences that were involved in this, and it's a very, you know, happenstance, like, I'm apologizing, but it wasn't really my fault kind of deal, but I'm still apologizing. The thing is really long-winded. To be honest, I don't think the guy needed to apologize, and I didn't think that we needed to wait so long to find an answer to this. This is one of those things that really should have just been said the second it had happened and we all moved on with our lives. But, you know, apparently this was something that very much bothered people. I've heard some people say that the reason that it's so late is because he has ADHD, and, you know, I have very close friends who have ADHD, and you know, this is not, I don't know when this became an excuse, but I don't think it is. I don't understand that argument at all. Where is that even coming from? Anyway, after this Pastebin got out, news started reporting on it, and as drama reporting does, they simplified it to Dream cheated, full stop. And, you know, Dream might have some more specifics to say, but, you know, it turned into a media frenzy. And right after that happened, some interesting things started to occur, of which I find very, very convenient. The Pastebin got deleted. According to Dream, it was deleted because Pastebin's staff figured it was causing toxicity, and that's funny because I don't know how many of you have used Pastebin, but I've seen people's personal information and doxes posted to Pastebin, which is fun, right? Apparently that's not as toxic as Mr. Minecraft Man and his speedrun. Okay, listen, I don't really care if the original got deleted because the internet is forever, and once you take that genie out of the bottle, you can't get it back in. All right, because the internet is forever. That you can find the apology out there. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you. I don't really think you need to read it. I think it's rather boring, lengthy, and doesn't get to the point right away. But then, my favorite stuff started to happen. Dream started streaming. All boys started streaming. You know, you see drama happen with YouTubers, and honestly, I think it's a combination of most YouTubers getting famous in high school and never having to deal with criticism that brings a lot of these young, successful people into a position where they just end up putting their foot in their mouth, because they conflate criticism with critiques of content of character, and they are not the same thing. I've had my work critiqued before from other creators online. Most of the time, it's not about my content of character, it's about my content, which is fine, and I'll take it in sometimes to improve, but other times if it's about my content of character, I'm very comfortable in who I am, and I feel confident in thinking that I'm not a fucking asshole, so I'm not gonna take that in, right? And you learn to take in criticism from, you know, putting your stuff out there and then people giving feedback and back and forth, and you get a lot more of this if you go to art school, which is, hello, what I've done. Not worth the price, we'll say that, but, you know, you do get it. But Dream really strikes me as some guy who really hasn't had that kind of experience to handle it. So what do I mean by this? Let's talk about John Swan, and I'm going to talk more about him later because I can already see the comments rolling in about it. And I do want to address it and apologize because I didn't take his word on it, but I shouldn't have like reported it how I did, and I ended up looking like a moron because of that. And honestly, John Swan, thank God you're on the jail island of Australia because you can take your perm and keep it there, you slimy fuck. But you know, that stuff with John Swan would have never happened or even come to be if Dream didn't see the tweet posted on a subreddit that was about him and respond to it. You know, there's like so many levels that Dream had to go to respond to John in like a half-assed way. And then, you know, same thing for John, where John didn't need to go out of his way to, you know, like fight back against Dream. I don't think anybody would have noticed it, but I do also think that like Dream saying something period to try and discredit the guy in the first place, it's like, yeah, Broken Clock was right twice a day, but like there's a very easy alternate reality where that didn't happen, but Dream just looked like a fucking asshole. Like, Dream wasn't telling us about John Swan's content of character because Dream was trying to do something good for the community. He was doing it so that way nobody critiqued him. That's it, okay? All this to say, just because John Swan's some weird little trolling nerd doesn't mean that his critiques of Dream are invalid. For some reason, people seem to think that those two things are mutually exclusive. I hope I'm using that word correctly. It's been a long day. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Let's get back to Dream streaming. So Dream started streaming, and he was responding to a couple of videos, and people kind of treated this as the mask off moment. And one of these is much less of a mask off moment and more of a trying to diffuse it while still trying to defend yourself kind of thing. And then the other one was definitely a mask off moment, but we'll start with the Donkey video because Donkey's the more popular guy here. Now, you watch these clips, and I'm going to play a clip, two clips in a second, and you can tell that Dream is playing it up for entertainment. This part's where he's like kind of playing into the joke, right, of losing Donkey as like the #1 Dream stan, and there's other parts where he's like genuinely a little miffed about it and responding, and people seem to think that he's just being like an entertainer the whole time. And I do think there's a part of him that's like trying to make sure he's being entertaining while doing this. But then he's also trying to address it like genuinely in this same video when Donkey's video is completely satirical of that.
Dream put out a video proving, and notice how proving is in quotation marks there. He put out a video proving he didn't cheat. So then the whole internet flipped to being back on Dream's side. So I had...
Yes, the entire internet flipped to being on my side. It wasn't like there was not a single video ever made in support other than my video. And there wasn't like 10 videos made against my video, and all of collectively Reddit and collectively anyone that, you know, that wasn't a fan of mine, that was giving me the benefit of the doubt based on my behavior, which is a reasonable thing for a person to do. Come on, Donkey. Come on, Donkey. You're better than this, Donkey.
You know what it's like? It's kind of like when a kid is like the butt of a joke, but he's trying to not let the joke make him the butt, so he kind of plays into it, and he's like trying to act all tough and a part of the joke when he's the one who's on the receiving end of being mocked about it. Like, you can see him defending himself by kind of like pretending like it doesn't matter, but then you can tell he's miffed. So yeah, people treated that as the big bruh moment, like where all the charades fell apart or whatever the shit, the mask fell off kind of deal. But that I don't think so, right? I think Dream could have handled that better. In fact, the best way to handle it was that if you're confident in your apology and you're confident in what you said, you don't need to defend it, right? If people are gonna take it and kind of tear it apart and not listen to what you have to say, if you're confident in yourself, you don't need to defend yourself. I really don't see why you would need to. I wouldn't. No offense to this other guy, but in comparison to Donkey, he's basically a nobody. And it was a little funny because you look up at the top of the screen and it's like, Dream cheated. And it's like, bro, don't expose yourself to that, because if you do that, you're just gonna drive yourself insane. I'm speaking from experience there. Don't go out of your way to find people making the worst judgment calls on your personality and in person when they don't know who you are. It is not good for you. Do not do that. There's no point to do that. Anyway, yeah, he basically did a reaction to this guy's video that was talking more specific about like the modification of the game and all this stuff. And you know, this one kind of gave me the reaction where I had to do a double take on Dream.
Here we go. There's this video, don't send hate. I disliked it. Okay, I did. Okay, to be fair, I do dislike the video, just to say, but, okay, I'm just gonna watch the video. I'm gonna watch the video. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna react to it. Don't send any hate, please. Don't. It'll make me look bad, and it's not good. Please, don't. Needed. And usually we use plugins. Like, this is a mod, Minecraft, but it's pitch black. Like, how can we do that without a mod? You need a mod, not a plugin. And mods and plugins are different. And Minecraft, we can only see one chunk. Again, that's a mod. So, modded Minecraft butt videos. Anyway.
And this is such a weird, pedantic argument that's brought up in this video, where it's like a plugin versus a mod. Listen, it's been a hot minute since I've been in game dev school, but, you know, maybe one day I'll return, but there's a difference between a plugin and a mod. Yeah, that's obvious. How they interact and the injection, they're different, right? They're different, but a modification to a game can be a plugin or a mod. A mod is a type of modification to the game. Comprende? Two different things, but they do the same thing and give the same kind of outcome. It alters vanilla Minecraft. It is an alteration. It is a modification. A mod is a type of modification, so is a plugin, okay? Like, if I'm explaining to a layperson how it works, yeah, obviously there's specifics and differences, but if we're just gonna keep it real simple, which is not what you're doing and makes it does not help the conversation at all. When you keep it simple, they both alter the game. They're both modifications to a game. You know, on one hand, Dream responding to just a random Dream cheated video is just hilarious. You know, again, I don't really Google myself anymore. I'm kind of past that point. The novelty of it's worn off. I know some YouTubers get really, really antsy about it, but I think that's more about people reliving their golden age than like actually doing anything that gets attention. Look, creator or not, you don't want to do that, because then you're basically looking for people who are going to judge you by your worst moments, which is too common and not at all constructive to your own mental well-being or becoming a better creator. Obviously, taking in criticism is important, but just flailing yourself, just whipping yourself, not a good idea. Dream also holds this really weird half measure to mitigate harassment, where he'll like, listen, guys, you know, this is like I think his response to everything has been pretty cringe. Most of my videos about Dream, I'm going to be repeating myself, and this video is super, I don't give a shit, okay? So I don't want to keep doing it. And I'm like the third time into re-recording this. So I'm going to keep this really simple. And if you want, you can watch my other Dream videos, because regardless of how it went with John Swan, my opinion on Dream was the same before that ever happened. Okay? My opinion on Dream has not changed from the moment I started talking about him. Right? So let's talk about community real quick, because I don't want to repeat myself anymore. But you know, how you talk about issues, right, especially regarding parasocial relationships, that tone is going to dictate behavior. And as I've discussed before, promoting certain actions or behavior on a channel can change how the overall community around a creator acts. There, I'm just gonna read off my script, because I can't muster up the shit to give anymore. I can't. Anyway, the reason that I've come to this conclusion with how to handle parasocial relationships and negative stan behavior online, right, is actually from talking to the audience by asking them the questions of what they think would be the best to stop people like that, right? So, you know, it's about talking really frankly about these issues that hurt, that can sometimes hurt physically, and there's a reason I bring up examples like Christina Grimmie or, you know, John Lennon, because it's all fun and games and you get real famous and you get real successful, but it's all fun and games until somebody threatens to kill you and your family. I've had it happen before. I know people who've had it happen before. We have examples of having it happen before. We don't want to engage in promoting that antisocial behavior. You know, creators can work best when their audience is gonna be healthy, right? We want to encourage more pro-social behavior, and I don't know if you haven't looked outside the window recently, but the last year and a half has been very anti-social behavior. We want to do less of that. We want to encourage more reaching out, talking, things that are healthy and good and help promote good things. Like, for example, when I did the whole Reddit cruise stuff and loudmouths, there was a lot of uncomfortable shipping that happened between me and the people I knew, and there was a couple of ways we could have handled that. We could have ignored it and just let it fester, and it would have gotten worse over time. It definitely would have, because after we addressed it and were very frank about it and talked about the damage it does, it did stop, and that helped a lot in making it more comfortable to spend time around people. But you know, that's an issue because those things, they first manifest as fantasy, and then what's weird is that these teenagers, because most of the time it's teens or younger, very rarely is it people past their 20s, but it does happen. But you know, these people would basically want these ships to be reality and then go out of their way to try and ruin our personal love lives, our relationships, our friendships, our families, and do things that were above and beyond what is okay and acceptable in any sense of the word. And you know, Dream might not care about things like people doing fan fiction about him or weird like Rule 34 art and all this shit, right? And maybe he's had different statements on it, but generally from what I've seen, that's not the case, right? It is frustrating, and having been on the receiving end of it, where it impacts your life in a way that is super negative, when you see a creator that's like, yeah, that's okay. Fucking just, look, talking personally here, if I see a creator that's about that and is like cool with it, that's fucking weird, okay? Look, that's just me, alright? When you promote that kind of weird stan culture, right, that's weird. He promotes negative behavior online. I'm not gonna go into the details of it because the people that are already gonna say something ridiculous in my comment section were gonna say it already, okay? I've talked about it before. I don't want to talk about it again. It's ridiculous. Okay? I think Dream's got an ego. That's it. Alright? Am I gonna say he's a narcissist? I think, you know, with no professional background whatsoever, I would call him that, but I have no basis for that, and commentary channels usually get raked over the coals for saying that. But that's just my personal hot take. Alright? You can choose to believe it or not. I don't know if he's a narcissist or the fact that he's a mix of young and extremely famous, but he seriously either needs a social media manager or to actually, you know, get some more fucking experience in his life so that way he can do his job better. That's it. Listen, as for the Dream stans, right? As for the Dream fans, if you watch him, sure, cool. I don't mind, all right? That's fine. That's your prerogative, right? I don't dislike him because I hate you. I dislike the things that he promotes and stands for, and I've talked about it multiple times. Again, not gonna talk about it again. And yeah, with that being said, I'm out of here. I just, long day. I'm done. There we go. Leave.